You should not be trading prop until you are profitable or have found a profitable strategy. Let's talk about it. First, I want to talk about profitability, right? You hear that a lot, like, hey, I want to be profitable, or this trader is profitable. You see the videos on YouTube, but all it really is, and that's to me and to a lot of people, is just you making more than you are spending in the market, especially in the prop firm space overall, right? So it's not about, having a $1 million account, $100,000 account. It's all about pulling money out of the market consistently, right? Or even just making more money than you are spending if you're trading prop, or not constantly losing or blowing account. That's where I think profitability is, right? Making more money, taking profits out of the market, but just making sure you're making more money than you are putting in, right? That's all it is. It's not about 10K months, 20K months, right? You could be profitable at $2,000 a month. You could be profitable at $4,000 or $5,000, right? And that all depends on where you are in life, right? If you're trading full time, you could also be working a full-time job, right? Getting paid 5, 6K a month and then making another 5K on top of trading, right? That's profitability, right? So it's finding that sweet spot where you're constantly, consistently pulling money out of the market, right? So now that we've addressed profitability, I want to talk about some of the things, when it comes to prop, why you shouldn't jump into the market until you have a consistent strategy, something that works for you, that's allowing you to pull profits out of the market on a consistent basis, whether that's weekly, monthly, quarterly. The first thing that you have to do before jumping into the prop firms, buying 50Ks, 100Ks, 150Ks, is to find a strategy that works for you, right? And I'll be the first to say it, or, there's a lot of different strategies out there, right? You have ICT, you have supply and demand, you have trend lines. And what I'll tell you is most of it work, right? Even bullish breakouts, bullish and bearish breakouts, they work, right? And it all depends on, what you're trading, whether you're trading NASDAQ, ES, gold, YM. And it also depends on, how much you're looking to pull out of the market, right? This strategy could work for 20, 30 points, but you may find it harder to catch 100-point trades. But that could be, if that's not what you're looking for, then there's other things you can do. You can scalp the market. Whatever it is for your trading style, you have to find something that works, right? And I would suggest finding somewhere, a community first, right? I learned most of my trading from YouTube. I'm not gonna lie. I learned almost everything that I know from YouTube. I've learned supply and demand. I've learned ICT, and then I went and put my own strategy together just based on everything that I know, right? So I think that's one of the things people are missing, is really making it their own, right? You don't have to follow all the rules that ICT or anyone set, because it may not work for you, right? I don't need 100 points every day, but I can catch 50 points with 5 micros and have a great day on multiple accounts, right? I don't have to target, a certain liquidity level. Like, you have to figure those things out for yourself, right? What works? How many points am I gonna take on this trade, right? How many points am I risking? And what's my size gonna be? Those are all things that you have to outline, you have to write down, you have to know prior than just going and copying these combines and funded accounts, all right? You have to figure those things out first. And I will say most strategies work, but you have to come up with set rules that will keep you in the game, right? Hey, if I lose this much money, I'm done for the day. If I make this much money, I'm done for the day, right? I'm gonna target this many points and I'm gonna close it at that. I'm not gonna keep moving. You have to figure out what rules work for you and follow those, because the rules will really help you stay in line when it comes to this trading stuff, right? Like, you have to have set rules, or else you're gonna come in and have unpredictable days. You're gonna be doing different things every day in the market, and that's not gonna work. I did that for a few months. I did that for a year, and where I found consistency was when I wrote down my rules. I wrote down my rules, exactly what I'm going to do, what I want to do for the day, what I'm targeting for the month, how much I want to make for the month, and I went for that. Once you have those written down, you have your solid rules, you have a solid strategy that works, go for it. And then I suggest going for it. Now, next, after you find a strategy, here's what you should do. All right, so you went on YouTube, you did all the research, you finally found something that works for you. Like I said before, you have to make it your own, right? So it doesn't matter what everyone else is doing. You have to make it work for you. Just because they're doing this exact thing, just because you follow the exact steps of it, it doesn't mean that it's gonna work for you. Why? Because at the end of the day, our emotions is tied into the trades. It's tied into the trading overall. And that's always gonna be a barrier from people to people, right? That's why the certain strategy may not work for you, because you may not have the same risk tolerance as this person that showed you that strategy. And I'm going to say it again, you may not have the same risk tolerance as the person that showed you the strategy. So what you're going to do is make it your own, right? Whether you want to risk 20 points, you can only risk 10 points. You want to try to catch the lows. Maybe you're the type of person that don't care where you're entering from, right? And you have a bigger stop loss. Whatever it is, make it your own, right? And then you have to backtest it and make sure it works. And I suggest doing demo for at least a month, practicing on demo and making sure that this thing that you're doing works, right? After that, then if you're the type of person like me, you need to get some emotions involved, then I would get some cheap 50Ks, maybe go into Apex when they have like an $18 50K, right? Where you're trading, but your emotions you could feel it a little bit more, right? Because you're actually gonna lose the account if you lose the trade, right? So then you're gonna see if your strategy works comparing to your emotions, right? Because I'm the type of person that I can't really trade demo because I don't really feel it when I'm in a trade because I already know it's fake, right? So I would cop an Apex, cop maybe a Top Step, right? $50 account, trade that, see what happens, right? Maybe you pass it. If you pass it, that's great. You got a funded account, right? But do that for at least another month to make sure you have something solid, and then you can move on to start purchasing the funded accounts. Now, once you've done all this, right, now you're ready to really step out there and start finding or trading some of these combines and accounts, right? The first thing you got to do though is make sure you're in a prop firm that got the right rules for you, to help you get to those payouts, right? To help you get there. So make sure you pick the right prop firms. You guys already know who I trade with. I'm not gonna go over all of them in the video. If you guys don't, then you could look at some of my old videos. You'll see exactly the prop firms that I trade with, right? Next is to, once you do find a prop firm, is to, you take the same rules that you were using and just continue doing the same thing, rinse and repeat. If it works, if it ain't broken, don't fix it, right? If something works for you, just do it over and over and over again, right? The same with the combine, the same with the funded, and just keep going at it, right? Once you have a good buffer, you have a good strategy, then you can go ahead and start scaling up in your size a little bit, right? But what I will say too is when you get to that that combine stuff, start with the 50Ks. Don't just jump into the 150Ks. Start with seeing if your strategy works in the 50Ks, 100Ks, right? Then you could move on to the 150Ks if you even need to, because plenty of people just trade 550Ks and they run it up with that, right? Based on their strategy, what they're doing, they're still able to run it up with that. You don't need a huge account, but some of you may want that, right? So once you do, have that 50K, 100K, then you can start scaling a little bit, maybe 150K. Mine for the future is 100K Top Step, and run it up that way, right? But make sure you are profitable or have a good strategy prior to just jumping on these prop firms, right? Because then what's going to happen is that you're going to waste a ton of money. You're going to keep buying 150Ks, 50Ks, 50Ks, and next thing you know, 2 months in, you are deep in the hole for like $3,000, right? You get a payout for $1,500 and you get excited, but when you really look at it, the difference, right, you'll see that you're still in the negative, right? So make sure before you go out there, you jump in these prop firms, you find something that works for you, you find a strategy, because they are, it's a business. They're giving us the opportunity. They're giving us the drawdown. We're able to trade 4 or 5 cons, but you got to remember, at the end of the day, it's a business, right? They are trying to make money, and they make money on people that do not know that what they're doing, or they're just trying to gamble it to find a way, right, to make some money. You're going to spend a lot of money, and you're going to find that, that you've wasted 3-4 months just wasting away your money. Okay, so make sure you find something that works prior to jumping on these prop firms. If you need help, if you don't have a strategy, hit me up. I'll send you a link to our my free Discord, where I've actually canceled everything. You could go on there. It's not anything where I have exactly here's A, B, C, but what you can do on there is reach out to me. You can talk to me. You can talk to me on the video calls they have on there. You can send me a message, ask me questions, and I can help you when it comes to like strategy, risk management, things like that. Okay, so like I said, don't just jump on there, waste your money, find a good working strategy, and then you go from there. Peace out.